Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss why teenagers are so difficult, or labeled as difficult. So before we understand, we have to go back in time and understand what's going on in the brain because all the behaviors actually they are quite influenced by the brain and how our mind and the brain works. So in order to understand, let's first understand how the brain is developed. So the brain is developed from the gestational period, which is the pregnancy. So in the pregnancy, the brain starts to develop and it continues to grow until late 20s. Yes, late 20s. So now we understand that brain continues to grow until the age, quite late until the late 20s. So what happens is that when the child grows, the brain also grows. So when the child takes birth, at the time the brain is 25% of adult brain size. So just 25%. Now from that phase until the age of 6, the brain is developed up to 90 to 95% of adult brain. Now from that phase, next developmental phase is going to come in teenager. That's when the massive rapid development is again going to take place. So this brain is getting developed in two stages. So first is from the birth up to the age 6 where the rapid growth and rapid development happens. It's in the first stage, and that's the also phase, the toddlers, when we label them very difficult, always they say terrible twos and terrible, toddlers, because they are going through rapid brain, development and changes. So that's why they behave in the way, they behave. Now the next phase is again in teenagers. That's when they are again going to have this massive and rapid brain development, and a lot of different areas of the brain is getting developed. Now there is one particular area, especially for the teenagers. I'm going to today focus on teenagers. So the one particular area which is still not developed is the prefrontal cortex, which is the front part of the brain. Here I'm talking about the brain, so the physical brain, right? So this brain, like, it has different parts, and each part is responsible for different actions or different functions. Now this particular part, the prefrontal cortex, is responsible for logic and reasoning and decision making and executive thinking. And these things, like when we need to look at different aspects and then take the decision accordingly. This is a really advanced level of thinking, and for that you are using your prefrontal cortex, which is not developed in teenage as yet. And that's why teenagers sometimes take very risky, behavior or decisions and sometimes we wonder that, they look so tall sometimes, or they can be even 6 feet or more taller. And still you may wonder why. I don't know why they behave like this. Maybe they are just doing it to upset me or something. No, they are not. They are basically just not able to think through because of the brain particular area is not developed yet. Now we know that why teenagers are behaving in a way which is upsetting you or making you very scared and worried. So what we can do now, let's come to the conclusion and let's come to the solution part. Now you can sit with a child, your teenager, and think through. Suppose the child says, I want to go out on late night shows or movies or something. So you can sit with the child and just lay out all the options. So what happens when you go out late alone, and what can go wrong, and what can happen, and why is it dangerous? So by doing that, one, what you are doing is you are basically ensuring the child is safe. You are keeping the child in loop, whatever you are deciding together. So there is a very important aspect of connection as well. And also you are ensuring that the child is now able to understand. When you talk through all these things, then you're also enabling the area of the brain to develop. So it is like multifaceted benefits, just by talking to your child. Now I have already made a video about care, connection, and compassion, which are really important for any relationship. So I'll leave the link also in the description, so you can also check that out. But at this particular stage, this dialogue is really important to have with your children, and just sit down and talk through whatever is happening. Because when you talk, and when you explain why it is, then most probably the children are going to listen and understand, and not make any wrong decisions, or any get involved in any risky behaviors. So that's all for today. And just make sure that when you look at the children, you see them as work in progress, especially in the brain development way, and not take their behavior too personally and get very disturbed and angry. Because when you get disturbed and angry, that's when the child is going to just shut, and they are not just going to listen to whatever you say. So this is really important to just have this disconnection, from the reaction and your reaction, and see the child as a person who is going through some major changes in their lives and in their brains, rather than the child is trying to trigger you or something. So this will really help you see things in clarity and in perspective. So that's all for today. Until next time, just be mindful and happy parenting. If you have got any question, please do ask as well. Thank you, and see you next week.